So, no looking at the cameras now, is it? That's how it works, I think, isn't it? We've just got to look at each other.
This is for the outtakes.
Pretend we know what we're doing. So, first question I had for you was, how does it feel being the man who's probably been in a Welsh kilt more than anyone else in the world over the last 6 years?
Yeah, it feels great. I can honestly say, I never thought that I would be a person that would be saying that I want to wear a kilt for the rest of my life, but having worn one, not just around the house or anything like this, actually outside, practically, they're just so comfortable and so lovely. So, I guarantee you won't see me in a pair of trousers, at least in a very long time.
And obviously it's the Lewis tartan that you've been wearing, which is the family name. How did you actually find out that there was a Lewis tartan out of interest?
That's a really good question. I don't know, if I'm perfectly honest with you. So I think I'd seen something somewhere about Welsh tartan centres, or maybe someone had tagged me into a post, and I was like, oh wow, this is interesting. And the fact of the matter was, I knew I was going to be in the Isle of Lewis in the Outer Hebrides very soon. So somehow connection was made, and then obviously you guys were good enough to send me my first ever kilt.
Going back to that time when I think you were approaching the Isle of Lewis, and somebody got in touch with us at that point to discuss what you were doing.
Okay.
I think my wife was already following you on Facebook, and your fame was becoming bigger and bigger at that point. But of course, you'd been walking for, was it 2.5 years then?
So about just under 2 years by that point.
So we got involved with you at that point, really.
Yes.
And ever since then, you've been obviously lovely and warm, because you've had a Welsh kilt on.
Indeed.
And looking splendid.
Thank you. Not so much now, but no. Listen, it was. I've always said that for the first part of my journey, I was very much a homeless man walking. I think it was around the time of the Hebrides. Certainly when I first got the kilt, that in general, I think my gear had started to upgrade. My social media following had become better, and I thought when people saw me wearing the kilt, they were like, "Oh, maybe you need one of these. You need one of these." But I can't do that unless I go and make it myself. I don't have the funds to be able to do it. So people all did their bit to try and make me look a bit more of an adventurer, rather than, like I said, a homeless man that was walking. And it was the first time that I actually felt good. As a walker, I felt really, walking into a town with a pair of trousers that were beige, that are now multicoloured from all sorts of, debris and stains of the wilds, and to suddenly feel like that was amazing. And there's a thing in Scotland that you don't wear anything underneath your kilt, but I can tell you now, even through the winters out there, I was never cold. Absolutely not cold. So they really do work.
Brilliant. Well, I wanted to take you back to the beginning as well, because obviously I've been reading your book recently, and I didn't realise that there was no sponsorship, there was no assistance. You literally went out there from scratch on your own 3 days after you decided to start walking, and it's just, your book is astounding.
Thank you.
That first period as well, the first 2 years, going up to Scotland, just absolutely amazing what you achieved with no funding, no backing, and no real support behind you either. It was just you and you.
Yeah, I think in a strange way that was a big ally for me. The whole unplanned, what's going to happen sort of way to approach this. Look, I know from experience there's a lot of people out there that would be very meticulous when it comes to something on this kind of scale, and all the what ifs and buts further down the line. How do you do Scotland? How do you do this? And for me, it was just very much for, I don't know where I'm going to be staying tomorrow, so let's just focus on one day at a time. So rather than thinking too far ahead and not thinking of the scale of the whole thing, that really, really helped me. Just to be able to focus on one day at a time really sort of puts you in the moment, which is very, very important when you're doing something like this, because you don't want to do things like break legs or, It put me back to a very simple way of living. Where am I going to sleep tonight? I need some food in my belly. just basically I need some water.
But you had no big bank account either.
No, nothing at all. I didn't quite know what was going on in my head at first when I left of how this was going to be done. But there was a point on the Welsh coast I'd lost a lot of weight. I was very, very thin. I didn't look well, to be honest with you. And my drive to keep wanting to move forward perhaps was a little bit unhealthy in many respects. It was just by pure chance that I met two gentlemen coming up off a small little boat that had been out foraging for lobster. That I had the epiphany then, foraging is the way to do it. If I'm going to do this, certainly further up north, then I'm going to need to learn very quickly how to live off the land. So that was a game changer for me. It really was.
And that went wrong once as well, didn't it?
Yes, it did. Yeah. Unfortunately. It did. I recently told that story at the Cheltenham Festival. Probably not the story to tell in front of hundreds of people, but yeah, you don't want to make a mistake picking the wrong sort of stuff when you're foraging on the coast, especially when it comes to shellfish. And hey, I'm here to tell the tale, so that's the main thing.
So the book is amazing to see what you actually achieved. But we're going back to the kilt for a second. When you realised that there was a company that could make you a Lewis kilt, 4 miles from where you actually began your journey, that must have been a bit of a surreal moment as well.
Yeah, of course. I mean, even to be back here now,
And this is the first time we've met and actually seen each other face to face, isn't it?
But it's amazing, One of the things I'm so proud of about my journey is the kindness of strangers. I think it's really highlighted how many amazing people there are out there that do things. And you guys are exactly that. You didn't have to turn around and say, here's a nice new kilt, and this is actually my third now. So, you didn't have to do that. And it just goes to show you, doesn't it, that, when people all do their little bits and it all kind of helps. And I just think it's amazing that you're giving me a third kilt now and trusting me. I'll look after this one, I promise.
Were there lots of questions and comments about the kilt and why, what the colours were and so on when you were doing the work?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, especially up in Scotland, because obviously a lot of people think that kilts are Scottish, but it's a Gaelic thing. And certainly the older generation would see my kilt and they'd ask what I was doing, and they would say, it's so nice to see somebody wearing a kilt, that's not just for going for a wedding or a fancy do, to actually wear it for what they used to be worn for. And I kind of really felt a sense of pride in that. And everybody that I met that was interested in kilts said what a lovely coloured tartan it was, and what tartan it was, and I would enjoy telling them this. And so even though the colours are shall we say slightly more muted than
the all singing, all dancing brand new one.
But you know what, all of the tears, rips and everything on this kilt tells a story. I can tell you this now. This was from a fire, a blim come off the fire when I was cooking a stew and burnt a hole in it. So I had to patch it up quickly, but I wouldn't have it any other way, if I'm perfectly honest with you. These are getting framed and going onto my wall one day when we decide to settle.
So it's lived in.
It's really lived in, yeah.
That's the correct phrase.
Very lived in, yeah. Much to Kate's mother's despair, when I walk in the house with this, she's a bit of a clean freak. She's like, "You are not coming in my house wearing this kilt." That, watch me. I haven't got anything else. It's either that or I'll be naked.
So when you head back with a nice, clean, brand new kilt, are you going to put that on just to walk in the house to show what it's supposed to look like from the beginning?
Absolutely. I think part of me wants to put it on straight away, but I think I might wait until I've had a nice shower and a bath, which was a rare occasion for about 6 years. Clean myself up, and then these sort of things to me, I'm a very sentimental person, and they mean so much to me because, you can have people on your journey and all this stuff, but when it comes to things and things that mean something to me, that's, as far as I'm concerned, is massive. So it'll be a bit of a ceremony putting my new kilt on.
And it's been a big part of the walk, hasn't it?
Yeah, of course.
I mean, every shot we've seen, obviously, of you, we're looking for the kilt and looking for Jet, and then obviously latterly Kate on the baby.
Yeah, totally. It became.
So it's been part of the evolution, hasn't it?
It has indeed. And it made me stand out. I wasn't looking for that, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I could have quite easily at times, once we'd become pretty popular, hidden away for a while. But it was great. As soon as they saw the man with the kilt and a beard, that's what I was known as. But certainly up north, then.
So it became part of your look, I
Became part
guess.
of my
And
look,
people
yeah.
recognised you because of it.
Yeah, and I can genuinely say that I'm not, wanting a new one because for my look or anything like this. I actually am wearing it because I really, really love it. So, that's that basically.
Well, we send them all over the world, of course, and we make them in tartans from the one I'm wearing now, which is my Evans tartan.
I was going to
my
ask you
family
about
there.
this. This is your family tartan.
Yeah.
Evans tartan.
Evans, this is, yeah. But we make kilts for Scottish families. We make kilts for Irish families, so in every name you can think of.
Yeah.
So it's an international business really that we run here. But it's obviously been great to be able to look after one of our own.
Thank you.
And just do our little bit, only a very little bit really, to
That's
help you
big to me.
raise the funds that you have now for SSAFA, which is now
Over 500,000 now.
Which
yeah,
is
so
amazing.
I know. Set off for 100,000 and come back with that. The whole journey.
But 100,000 was really ambitious
Yeah,
at the beginning, wasn't it?
How do you put a figure on something
know.
like that? I just didn't have a clue. And for a man that was completely broke, £100,000 to me was millions. So. But look, go big or go home. That's the way I see things. And as soon as we hit the 100,000, it was right. Okay, let's go for 500,000, and we got there in the end. So,
Well, you certainly went big.
yeah, why not? Why not?
Again, one of the amazing things that I found from the book was your analogy, just in case people didn't know how far it was to walk up and down one of the locks there. I think it was on the Isle of Lewis and Harris. 120 miles up and down.
Oh, that was it. No, that was Mulligan.
Oh, Mulligan
So from the
that
top
was
of
right.
it, it's the same. And this is just one little part of Scotland.
Yeah.
The coastline. It's the same distance to walk from the very top of Scotland's biggest sea lock to the Mulligan and back up as what it is to walk from London to Manchester.
Yeah.
So when people were asking me, why is it taking so long? Nobody had ever stuck to the coast the way that I had done it, and it really was very, very rigid. And sometimes it would take a day just to do. Not even a mile, because you're going down really intricate ravines that are overgrown, fallen trees, and it was hard work. It really, really was. But the scale of it's unbelievable. If you were to stretch Scotland out,
It's quite amazing that you survived it, but the fact that the kilt survived it as well.
I still can't get it. There is, and I can
some
tell you
parts
this:
of the book which are a little bit scary, to be honest.
there are very few people alive that have slept in a tent as much as I have in a period of time. There are very few people alive that have done that, and
and in the places that you did it as well.
Yeah, the places
with
that
the
I did it.
conditions.
But I'm just talking more about sort of like the things that the kilt had to deal with. Waking up in the morning. 1 minute you're having a fire, cooking your food in the evening, and it's snowing and icy, and blims are hitting it. The next morning you're waking up and you have to hit the kilt off a rock to break the ice before you put it back on. And I can categorically say this now, that there is no item of clothing that I've ever owned in my life. And I had some good kit towards the end that would have anywhere near lasted like this. So you should be very happy with yourselves.
Brilliant. So you've got a few more plans coming up.
Yeah. So we've just
done a bit of filming.
Yeah, I've just finished writing my second book, so I'm really glad that's out of the way now. And now we are heading back up to Scotland to start filming. Hoping for a 10-part series. I can't say who it's with or anything at the moment. They're very secretive on that sort of scale, but either way, I just have to pinch myself of how crazy, the fact that I'm sat writing a book and then started writing a series is I can't comprehend it, to be honest with you. But I know I could sit here promoting this all day, but I've done it all with my trusty kilt, and we're really looking forward to the next section. And I really was very pleased to have a clean kilt to be able to film for the next section, which is going to take, I think, about half a year in total.
So what we'd like to do now is present you with your new garment.
This is the moment. This is like somebody else having a new house, okay? A lovely new house.
Yeah. And you can you probably don't remember what the kilt looks like when it was brand new, because you've done so much in it since then, and some of it must be a little bit of a blur.
Yes.
Looking back.
Oh wow! Here we go.
This is the way your kilt looked. The one you're wearing.
Yeah, shall I stand in?
This is
the difference. But hey, like I said, every stain, every hole tells a story. But I do aim to keep this one for a little bit longer. Amazing. I've got a question for you. For anyone who doesn't know, how long would it take to, from start to finish to make something like this?
A proper kilt can take one person, a skilled kilt maker, probably a week or two.
Wow. Okay.
From start to finish,
Wow.
because 8 yards of cloth in a proper kilt, in a dress kilt, and the pleating is quite intricate.
Yeah.
So that takes, I think that takes the most time. Yeah. So
Wow. It's way above my head. I'll just continue wearing it. You can do the making.
So this, I guess that's what makes it special, and it gives that nice movement is the pleating detail. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes it so popular,
It's beautiful.
And obviously as a dress garment or a walking garment,
Well,
as
listen,
as we now know it can be worn for.
from the bottom of my heart, thank you, the Welsh Tartan Centres, for doing this. In a strange way, you've changed my entire life's dress code.
What do you think of it, Jack?
What do you think, Jet? That smell a bit fresher for you, mate. Yeah, happy with that?
They don't normally smell like this, do they, Jack? Fantastic.
This is amazing. Thank you.
There we are. Brilliant.
Really
So
thank
nice
you.
to meet you as well.
And you too. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris.